Cool. Okay, good. All right. Welcome, everybody. It's so wonderful to have you here tonight. So I really just kind of want to jump in and start reading some poetry. We have a good turnout here tonight. So how about we just jump in?
Honored to be part of this anthology. I bought 3 copies and 2 of them have already been stolen by my friends who wanted to keep them for their own. So that's a good sign. So I'll be buying more. I'm going to read my first one, especially because it's not just Juneteenth, but we're also less than 24 hours out from the summer solstice. This is called An Angry Summer Sonnet. Do not put your fist through dry wall or glass. Do not screech frustration behind shuttered windows. Knock on your neighbor's door. Anger leads to action, and action to change. Bring everyone you know. Punch the sky. Let the summer boil. Make lightning fear the thunder of our voices. Raise those fists in defiance and hit the streets. Thank you.
Bart. I don't see anybody has a hand up. Well, how about I just go around the room? I see Hannah. I'll pick on you.
Okay, we're taking over the post office. The blacks are taking over the post office. He bellows at me without a clue of how ridiculous he sounds. Yes, I say, my tone thick with sarcasm. And the Jews own Hollywood and run the banks? That's right, his face flushed spittle on his chin. You do remember I'm Jewish. I'm sorry, and squealing, his voice cracking. With all the mixed race sex, white folks will be gone. I see the panic, the genuine fear in his face. I can't help myself. I burst out laughing. He's a grown man. How can he believe such nonsense? Lines from Yoda run through my brain. Racism runs deep with this one. Born and raised in the South, he was. Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. Looking deep into his petrified eyes, you must unlearn what you have learned, for you are already suffering.
Yeah, such a way of turning things around like that. I love it.
This is a poem I wrote after attending a Juneteenth celebration in Durham, and it's called A Family Affair. It's Juneteenth, and food trucks are everywhere. Urban Entree serves up artichoke dip with the chicken fillet. Shay is here preparing the food. Lamb sandwiches with peppers and onions today. Over there, her husband runs food with swag. I pay for my dessert here, a banana boat, while children play nearby. Across the way is the mainstay, Shay's mother, who runs Tootie's mobile kitchen and catering. She has a hungry crowd too. Tootie was injured at her daycare job, then started a food truck, which became pretty famous here.
Thank you, Dana.
That was a fun event, y'all. Woo-hoo.
I think Jill was next. She had her hand up. Jill?
Hi, my name is Jill Sharon Kimmelman, and I'm from Delaware in the US. It's good to see all of you, and happy Juneteenth. This poem is called Rapscallion's Toys, and it's about a homeless man. I will make you a room inside my house. Fill it with your treasures, antique trains, matchbox cars, ancient weathered, long playing record albums, your maps and photographs. What is this your eyes are telling me? You never had such treasures? Nothing ever given, meant just for little boys? Not a lone memory of scratched and dented, well-loved toys? Your songs come from the only soundtrack you have ever known. Pieces of holiday hymns floating in the air, late night street sounds, half forgotten lyrics have become your long cherished talisman. Someone has brought me you, a filled with sweetness man-child, devoid of memories, denied love far too long, desperate for celebrations only read about in dog-eared, scribbled in hand-me-down books. So I will carve for you a place inside my heart, bring you all the treasures from my own childhood. Easy bake ovens that turn out perfectly round, petite cakes, dolls with china faces and stiff petticoats, games with names like Twister and Candyland. Now, confusion clouds your eyes. Cry if you must. Cry if it helps. Take it in slowly as you begin to learn this foreign thing called play. Let me fill your soul with all the joy you have never known. A lifetime is never too long for a childhood to begin. Thank you.
Thank you, Jill.
You're welcome.
Beautiful. Ivor.
Oh, yes, I'm here.
All right.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, beautifully.
Okay. From Geelong, Australia. So I want to read The Nightly Sound. I'm at my desk, wondering, sitting here deeply pondering whether I am a strange sort of writer, And am I just a distant loner? My keyboard is covered in moisture, the wetness from my overflowing tears. I cry about my latest plight. I cry for the world's hungry sleeping out of sight. I cry during Xavier's song, Spirit Bird, resonating like the last post. I cry for the children, the ones we have lost. My heart dampens with every word I weep. My heart floods with emotions every time I sleep. I was wondering, and I am pondering, do other writers hear that nightly sound? Hear the pitter-patter of naked feet? Hear the noise of shuffling feet in their sleep? Hear their dirtied feet, the silent millions of poor children yet to eat? Done.
Thank you. Okay.
Oh, and the book. I've got the book. You see, book.
This keeps the flow going well. This one's called Dandelion. Capone to Daley to Obama. Evolution did not change anything but who kills whom. Gangsters, each other. Bystanders, just for being there. Protesters, just for pointing out the obvious. Black on black. A dandelion pushes through cracked concrete, not knowing it will be surrounded by gunfire. Our 3-year-old girl picks the white puffball, blowing seeds to an uncertain fate. Elizabeth City has a subdued street funeral, no Dixie band. Violence for once skips, making mourners look bad. Those enraged at this cop execution, not looting, burning surrounding areas. 12 seconds after silk seeds fly, our girl is dead. A stray Chicagoland bullet, one of 806 flying tip projectiles shot today. Like Camden, no block party or government can or will solve gun deaths. So the Civil War rages unreported. 915 blacks gunned down between George Floyd and Andrew Brown Jr. Only Dante Wright made the news. Just about 99% of the cop killings go unreported. We sit on steps crying, a new seed sprouts, a garden revolution, quiet, more effective than feeble attempts to bridge the divides, many. Gatherings meant to replace Fox propaganda fail. Cop community dinners turn to food fights. Our girl, dandy stem clutched, drops in a pool of blood, knowing only the innocence of spring beauty.
Powerful. Thank you, Doug.
Yeah, cool.
Cheryl.
Oh, okay. I wasn't expecting to go this early. Okay. Um, going for Skittles and iced tea, not returning home. Jogging in the streets, not returning home. Driving in automobiles, not returning home. Playing in the neighborhood park, not returning home. Selling loose cigarettes on Staten Island, not returning home. Shopping in Walmart and around the way stores. Taking your brand new sports car for a drive, not returning home. Whatever the intended errand, never returning home. Lives over in a moment. Black people mourning, no explanation required, as buildings continue burning. Black lives grieving. 402 long years waiting for deferred justice. Mourning, mourning. Black lives steadily mourning. Since justice is denied, the flames of Black fury gonna swallow privileged white America whole. Feel the inferno of injustice, denied, rising higher and higher, engulfing an angry Black soul.
Brilliant. Thank
Brilliant
you.
indeed. You know, when we read these poems, and Zan can speak to this too, because we were reading through the poems and trying to decide, which ones to accept for the anthology. Tough decision, very tough decision. When you read it, it's one thing. When you read it out loud, it adds another element. When you hear the poet that wrote it, read it, that makes all the difference in the world. That's one of the reasons I love to do these, because I want to hear the poems be read by the people who wrote them, where the passion is. I see Zan next on my panel.
Okay, and Lisa is correct. When we started reading the poems, it felt like the poets were marching on paper. The expressions are so powerful, and to hear you read them today is just warming my heart. I'm gonna share a poem that I wrote at the end of last summer after seeing the John Lewis exhibit at the Atlanta airport. It's called Now You Know. Had they known he would be a noble statesman, would they have hosed the protesters on Selma's Bloody Sunday? Had they known he was there to spark good trouble, would they have let their horses overrun the crowd? Had they known he would lead this nation's Peace Corps, would they have cruelly beaten him with billy clubs? Had they known he would compose great books and legislation, would they have intentionally fractured his skull? Had they known he would sit across from US presidents, would they have defended Jim Crow and corruption? Had they known he would secure voting rights for all, would they have tear gassed everyone within reach? Had they known he would rise in American history, would they have brutally knocked him to the ground? Had they known he'd be called the conscience of Congress, would they have called him all those terrible names? Had they known he'd receive the Presidential Medal of Freedom, would they have forcefully and repeatedly locked him up? Had they known he'd lie in state as an honored official, would they have deterred his crossing of that bridge? There is at least one John Lewis in every peaceful protest. No excuses. Now you know. Thank you.
It
For a
chill
great-
bumps.
For a great American, thank you.
Thank
That was
you.
wonderful.
Yes, indeed. Thanks.
Horace.
Okay, This is I Can't Breathe. I am choking on your mendacity, and I am tired of this atrocity, fueled by your audacity and your police brutality. While you hide behind your deluded, demented, illegitimate executive power, you cower as the people take their last breath. You lie and you tell us you have done your best. Every day we watch you play politics, creating your illusions, spewing confusion. You pimp and parade, act out your charade, pointing your fingers and waving your hands while the people are dying across the land. The land of the free and the home of the brave has now become the United States of graves. You deny and you accuse, you lie and you refuse, but we the people are the ones who lose. We lose our sons and our daughters, our mothers and our fathers. We lose our jobs and our hope. As you say, it's all a hoax. Is this how you make America great? Or is this how you make America hate? Hate me because my life does matter. My intelligence, my skills, my talent, and my labor have made your pockets fatter. You call me peaceful, you call my peaceful marching and civil protest lawlessness, while your secret militia and vigilantes paint their faces and hide behind their cowardice. As you continue with your hateful, divisive rhetoric, we will continue to fight to get your knees off our necks.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Let me see that shirt you got on. You and your sister wearing matching shirts tonight.
Yes, these are our new shirts.
Love it. Love it.
Thank you.
Jaya, come on board.
Can everyone hear me? Awesome. So the poem that I wrote that I'm going to read tonight is called I Dare. And it was inspired by a scene in the 7th Little House on the Prairie book, which is set during the 1800s. So here we go. Order is vaunted, set atop a crystal pedestal and painted gold, while chaos rusts in the corner. Organize us then into a ladder of committees and agencies. Dare I say, we care more about the hierarchy, the nomination method, than what we are organized for.
Joni, you're on board.
I wasn't sure which one to read. I think I'm going to read Silenced. Dissecting myself, pinpoint eyes, unlovable. I am a desiccated bud. Rooms filling up with foul old men, escorting me nightly by van in sin. Big movies, a star you yearn to be. Envy will bleed in lockers at school, wanting for nothing, I hear, as I soar on sundry settings, beds, and the floor. An injection now, orange body flies, lamenting in dark. I pray for a rescue. God, let mom feel my floating cry. Chains, gray skin, my tear ducts dry. My body wet, oozing with vile fluids. Lonely shell, now but a hollow vessel. I pee myself, chilled to the bone, cold, torn from inside out since I was sold. Obviously about slavery.
Everyone hear me? It's called Pith. One noble star instead of the sky of rain after 3 weeks of wet heat. The first break in the spell, storms that killed 3 people whose total age was less than 50 years. Nature provides, they say, but they were never struck by falling limbs of trees nor were among the thousands dying in flood, earthquake, or volcano, tidal wave, monsoon, tornado. No doubt they led an easy life, an easy death, one not numbered in statistics of unfortunates, of victims, but rather of those of whom they say they died a natural death, one as far removed as they from the struggle.
Thank you, Rich.
Thanks.
Elliot, you're next.
Okay. I wrote this last week after Alberti, and I was upset about it. It's titled The Last Hearse. It was number 17, if anyone counted through tears. This week, the last child was buried with its flowers and stuffed toys. Included in the tiny coffin are a handful of lead bullets scattered throughout its organs, along with a parent's heartbreak. Missing from all the week's funerals are the laws to prevent this again. Seems guns have more rights than kids, as the hearse refuels right afterward.
Thank you, Elliot.
Thank you.
Like that. I like that. Susan.
Hi, and I want to say thank you. I just got my poet's dozen of the book today, and it's really great to read and hear them on the same day. I wrote two, and one is decidedly lighter and more whimsical than the other. This does not seem to be a light and whimsical group, so I'm going to just like throw right into the one that I view as kind of heavy duty to read for sure. I wrote it last year after the Atlanta spa killings. Put us in the kitchen, still we rise. Tie us up in aprons, still we rise. We rise like the bowl of dough set there on the counter in a puddle of late afternoon sunshine. Punch us down, still we rise. We are brown bread and black bread. We are gluten-free and white bread. We are marbled rye and sweet bread, and we are rising. These thighs you find too large. The love handles, some say I need the latest workout plan, plus, of course, another diet. My breasts are too small, my ass too broad, and I am rising. I am made of bread loaves and muffin tops and cupcakes and the loveliest, softest dinner rolls. And I am rising in the warm oven of my anger. Thank you.
Wow. Great, Susan. Thank you. Nanci.
Okay, these are beautiful, everyone. Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be a part of this. I'm just curious, how many all have the actual book in front of you? Hold it up. Yay. Okay. It's a beautiful book. Thank you, Lisa, so much. Okay, so my poem, it's actually on page 64. I'm gonna turn a little light on here so I can see a little better. What it is to be awake. I didn't know what I didn't know until I knew what I didn't know, and it made me sick. Where do I begin to make amends for the part I played in the problem? The stories I was taught to believe would be so different if I was born in the house next door. I'm angry at my 7th grade history lesson and the stories written to separate me from my creator and people who do not look like me, while teaching me not to judge a book by its cover that's filled with lies that create fear that become hate. Red flags waved in my face. I'm told not to believe my own eyes. Those are flowers. Scolded to be quiet, to not raise my voice, Do not challenge the system designed to keep me silent, something I do not wish to be. Consciousness is defined as awake. Words find their way to my soul, and I listen. Enlightenment is the purpose of the journey. Accountability, responsibility, words so different from rights. Consciousness and connection to community is the collective way to change. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Thank you. Okay, Carlos.
Yes, ma'am. Hey, thank you all for having me this evening. Thank you, Lisa, for the opportunity to be a part of that project. I think that looks beautiful. Mine's on an ebook, and I still ain't made it through it, but I'm loving all of you guys writing. So let me give it a shot too. It's called Change. I saw a bum begging for change. And I didn't have much, so I wondered how much my change could change. Perhaps my change would be the catalyst of change. Or maybe me questioning giving change is evidence that I need to change. Change in my attitude. Change my perspective. Change in my evil heart. See, my simple self-righteous thinking combats the virtue by suggesting that this gesture is his hustle. So I hurried about my way. I pass him every day, rushing to work because I have to be there soon. But this brother, he's homeless. And that corner he's begging on, that's his bedroom. Change. Change. When God pours on me continually without scarcity, loss, or lack. And in this moment, I could part with a very small portion, and this is how I act. This unknowingly despicable Lazarus at the intersection begging for crumbs, but judging from the actions and the reactions, you wonder who's really the bum. You ask yourself, who's really in need? Because see, this brother knows he needs change, but my self-absorbed, inconsiderately wretched, wicked eye can't even see that I need change. I should be the one begging. Because more and more, I realize I need change. Thank you.
Carrie?
Okay. I hope you hear me. I got a bit of cold, so I hope you hear me okay. I'll just read the first one. So it's called 2030. So this poem is written about really it's the elderly citizens who whose lack of technology, like digital literacy, and they don't have the wealth or don't have the family support to be able to help them transition into the digital world. So the poem titled 2030. An old woman took her granddaughter to the mall. She wanted to buy her little girl a lollipop. The shopkeeper asked her to pay at the facial recognition machine. She was too poor to own a digital device, too helpless to be tech savvy, and she only scraped by using the money in a biscuit tin. The shopkeeper told her that the business could not accept cash payments anymore, for the public health order said it all. She pleaded with the shopkeeper, saying they were clean and healthy. All she wanted was a good old days reward for her granddaughter. The little girl looked up to her tear-filled eyes. Nana, you're the sweetest things in the whole wide world, more than all the lollies in the shop. Our Papa in heaven knows we are clean. Let's go to play in the sun. So, thank you.
I'm going to read one. I'm sorry, Joni. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that I read one of your poems, hello, hi, and it just stopped me in my tracks coming in the door with the book. I was there for, I don't know, 40 minutes standing. I couldn't move. Just flipped the book open. Excellent work, really beautiful work.
I'm going to read one for Robin. She's 2:30 in the morning where she's at in Turkey. So it's kind of hard for her to read her poems over the phone. This is Humanity on a Shelf. It's on page 84. Has the world lost its collective heart upon seeing war ravage countries? Have we lost our humanity? What is the logic in the siege of one's homeland? Why can't we live and let live? The carriage ripping through your heart, homes blown to smithereens as the world turns a blind eye. A great sigh of sorrow in hopes of a better tomorrow, a wish to witch their pains away. What if we saw each other as brothers and sisters instead of us versus them? Division only hurts us in the end. Instead of spending billions on war, help our people rather than incite propaganda. When will we see with our hearts and not just our eyes? Okay. Richa.
Hello, everyone. Just to say I'm honored to be here. So I'm just going to read out Black Hole. In abscesses and recesses, in alleyways and alcoves, in darkness lies between two legs, the sinuous devil's black hole. The dishonor of clan and tribes, this massive singularity of shame, the human bit attached to it is all the thing to blame. Wars have raged, bloodshed wild, by the thirsty sword of man. Who saves who from being the spoils, falling into the wrong hands? And if this flesh seeks its own hand to sate itself unbound, there may be plenty, your phallic majesties, to lay claim to the hallowed ground. Teachers have taught and scripture quoted, preachers have preached and prophesied. The impurity of woman's body can be cleansed when violated lead. There is no agency that the singularity holds. Though 1,000,000 years have thus passed, the matters are for men to mull and clear. Human rights exist, but women's rights come last.
Fireball and ashes. A golden ball rolls into the steaming pavement to dry the night tears as they one by one wake up. They are woke, down in sorrow. Glass broke underfoot, garbage stench from fires burned out. There's no new day here, just another day without any hope of required peace. This is what my friends who live on these hard-tossed streets know to be their lives. I refuse to own their pain. That would be like a master taking the slave's rights, feeding them nonsense and more abuse by letting them cry before another beating comes. No, I won't be that evil kind. What I will do is help their voices to be heard and hold them in my soul. I don't have a single speck of right to hold them in bondage. They are not owned. They should never have been owned. They can't ever be owned ever again. I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight and sharing your beautiful poetry. It's been wonderful. Thank you so much for participating in this anthology.